For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode 82 of That's a Shame, starring Isaac and Declan. I'm Isaac and you're...
I'm Declan. I'm
and
that
we
Declan,
are the stars.
the aforementioned.
Yeah, stars is not too strong a word.
No.
That was a statement, not
End
a question.
of the sentence.
Hope you're doing well, are you?
Not too sad.
Yeah,
What
enjoying
about you?
your life? Warm, isn't it?
It's too warm.
You like warm.
No, wrong.
Oh, the other
Opposite.
one. But you've been living your life on the balcony, I've noticed.
I have. Well,
It's a whole
today.
whole new era for you.
It's good because it's outside, but it's constantly in shade, so it's quite cool.
It's like
Getting
it's
a bit of a
designed
breeze.
just for you.
I know, it's wonderful. What about you?
Oh.
You're sat in your dark room.
Yeah, well, because if I keep the curtains open, what with there being quite a lot of glass, it just heats the whole place up too much. So I have curtains drawn, but window wide open, and that's a good balance. You get the breeze, but you feel connected to the outside, but not too much, because that would be
You
a
don't
step
like that.
too far.
You're not on board.
No, I like to think of myself not as above, although I am, 4 floors
Literally.
above, but separate and distinct.
This is your last show before you
Head
fuck
off, isn't it? Yeah, God, it's going to be hard for us to record all those shows while I'm in Florida.
Very,
isn't it?
very difficult.
Yeah, how are you going to be managing that?
Well, I don't know. I'm just what I'd say is that if I were a listener, I would very reasonably and fairly, I think, lower my expectations
slack.
for the for the quality of content for those
Because
shows.
worse shows with worse hosts, a lack of commitment, they'd just say, "Oh, we're taking a 2-week holiday," while our lead star is away. We don't want the co-star to kind of fill in on his own.
No.
It would be like if what's that? Chris
That's
Moore's
why it would be
sidekick.
especially bad given that the what was the phrase used? Lead host.
Yeah, the lead star
Was it?
host.
The lead
me.
star host
Yeah.
has so little faith and respect for his co-host that his co-host has approximately 0% access to anything required to even think about making the show.
That's not a problem of respect. That's just a problem of security. And I know that you're throwing passwords all over the place, left, right, and centre. But look, if you want access, you've got it. You just have to pass a series of challenges that I've prepared.
The first is to find a key hidden somewhere in the flat.
It's like the whole Willy Wonka experience. You're going to enjoy it a lot. But no, look, to answer the question that must be on everyone's lips right now, we've got you covered. We've been diligently pre-recording. We've been planning this for, months? Years.
But in action, we've been doing it for 2 days.
Yeah, but the planning, we
the
knew
planning.
that we were going to leave it until the last minute to record a bunch of stuff.
And we got all the...
Well, in a sense, we got some of the content, like in the sense that we knew future us would have to deal with that problem. So we were like, here's the content now, ship that off into the future for us to deal with then.
Exactly.
And I'd say the ones we've recorded so far, great episodes.
We've been handling it all right, haven't we?
In for a treat, everyone is, aren't they? And they're going to, in theory, automatically post themselves, but I can't imagine that working at all, because there are so many different moving parts involved. Like the episode has to post, and then the website has to post the link with the episode, and then you have to post the Twitter thing, and that will take up
That
to
always
a week.
takes.
So anything could go wrong. So I've been scheduling them for a time where I know I'll be able to take a break from the magic of the Magic Kingdom, just to check in and keep everything ticking over.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Hell of an episode today, and it's going to be one of our informative ones. Last Wednesday, in fact, we set perhaps a new trend for That's a Shame, which is a slight rebranding, a course correction away from just general shame to here's a shame that we're going to teach you about.
Yeah,
And
it's
that seems to be
and
the
not
theme.
it's not didactic.
Oh no, heaven forfeit.
Discursive.
Yeah. It's more just, we're finding topics, we've done the research, and we're coming back from the edge. A lot like we did with the Fat Earth community.
Exactly.
And Chipman, of course, being the harbinger of that whole...
Are you saying in a month's time we're going to have to get...
I'm afraid we're going to have to get a member of
this
today's community, which is, drumroll, it's the incels! Because we mentioned them a while ago. And it was met with some bemusement. People don't know a lot about the incels back in the day. And still, they're a mysterious cult, sect, group. But they were catapulted into the international spotlight following the horrific murder of lots of people in Toronto by that guy that drove a van through a crowd,
Yeah.
whose name is something like Alex Minassian, I think. Alec Minassian, is that what we're going to go with?
What, from his name written there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Let's
happy
say,
with that pronunciation?
don't say it's something like when you've got it there, like you were plucking it from the ether.
Oh, God, what's his name? I don't have that kind of information to hand. No, my point was really I didn't know how his surname was pronounced. But he obviously went ahead and did this terrible, dreadful, reprehensible crime. But it was quickly found out that he'd posted on his Facebook, not hours before, a call to action of a sorts, and it was firmly rooted in the incel community. Declan, would you like to do a dramatic reading of it?
This post.
Yeah.
I'm not doing an accent. Partly because I don't know what his was.
Canadian, I assume.
Well, we don't know.
You never know.
Very multicultural city, Toronto. Private, brackets, recruit, Minassian, infantry, 00010. Wishing to speak to Sergeant 4chan, please. C232499161. The Incel Rebellion has already begun. We will overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. All hail the Supreme Gentleman, Elliot Roger.
Now, what do you take from that? It was a lovely reading, yeah.
Thank you.
But that's not really the focus of today's topic, because
okay.
we already know, we established that you're a talented reader and speaker of words.
Thank you. I'd just like to hear you say it
If you
once a year.
were friends with someone on Facebook and they posted that kind of thing, what would you be chucking a like their way?
Wow.
Maybe a GIF response.
No. Oh, a GIF response. Perhaps one of those stickers.
A sticker.
You love a little sticker response.
Can't get enough. I've fallen off the sticker hype of late, but I'd forgotten about them if I'm honest. But you're saying this would be a good place for
Yeah, well, you'd think so, because anyone I was friends with on Facebook, if they posted this, it would be with the most incredible sense of irony.
Oh, okay. You're saying there are not many of the incels that you know about.
No.
But that's the thing, isn't it? This guy, he only knows an incel because he's advertised it.
He has very much, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's not like one of the more obvious
to be
ones.
fair, whilst I think I'd go with the sticker response, the idea of anyone I know saying, wishing to speak to Sergeant 4chan is such
Sounds like something an old woman would
such
say.
a conglomerate of absolutely appalling words.
It's a bit of a fail.
And tropes. Wishing to speak to the use of this kind of vapid military euphemism mixed with the idiom.
Hilarious joke, Sergeant 4chan.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Like,
I think that was one of the house robots on Robot.
Was it? Sir Kill-A-Lot and Sergeant 4chan.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Incel Rebellion.
Yeah, what form has that taken so far, other than
Well,
this
it's
guy
just
doing
him.
that murder?
No, it was just him.
Right. And how do you suppose he relates what he did to inceldom? We should probably redefine incel for those who don't know.
Oh, well, so it's
Give us a primer.
it's a sort of portmanteau for involuntary celibate.
Yes.
Which is again a euphemism that they've created to disguise the fact that this is a group of angry, misogynistic virgins.
Yeah.
And they have therefore created for themselves an outlook which describes the world as a place in which men are owed sex
Yeah, on the sexual marketplace.
by women
Yeah.
who are instead actually only obsessed with their own sexual pleasure and therefore seek out those called chads, which is an attractive, muscular, probably rich guy who he disrespects women.
Of course he does.
That's the thing, right?
That's what
these
so
chads,
great
they
about
keep
chads.
falling for these chads, right?
Cool. What they like, those women.
Those Stacys.
Those are the Stacys, yeah.
And really, what they should be doing is looking
Fucking
to
a
the
nice incel.
who they respect women.
Yeah, so much so that they
Want to
get
kill them.
online and talk about murdering them and everyone else.
Justify rape.
Yeah, because and so do. There's a guy. Who was I reading about? One of these like Jordan Peterson types.
Yeah.
Who are falling into the category of like intellectual if you squint a bit.
Yeah.
And are about 1,000 yards away. Who can string a sentence together. But
Was it that someone Williamson?
Yes,
Kevin
possibly.
Williamson, maybe? Was that his name?
It's someone who's, I could probably find it and fact check, but it's someone who's like fairly prominent, was talking about how we need to reframe our idea of like sexual encounters as a human right, and that one day he thinks that it will be accepted that, you know, people have a right to sex. And his implication was very clearly that, well, you know, whatever happens, once we've established that, we're just going to have to hope for the best.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, women. Obviously, you know, it's not the most thought out theory, and the incels have latched onto it in a big way. One thing that I guess we've never considered up here in our ivory tower on floor 4 is your own, Declan, status within the spectrum of incel to Chad.
Are we saying that it's not a binary?
No, there's all manner of places
All manner
you
of
can fall.
spectrum. Okay.
I'm glad you asked, actually, because there are a bunch of different options.
Okay.
At the very height or depth, depending on your outlook. I
Right.
think I can guess which. We have the absolute true cell. Now, this is someone who is described on this forum as, this is, I should say, an incel forum.
Yeah. Oh, we should also say that one of the more tragic yet hilarious forms that this community, I'm going to sort of call it, I suppose, takes, is that they use cell, C-E-L, as a suffix.
To anything.
And they attach it often to whatever they think best describes the form of their celibacy, the source of their celibacy. Because what they see is that women have created a world in which the standards for male sexuality are so impossibly high that any slight problem...
And when you say slight...
Oh, do I
couldn't
mean
more.
slight? Any slight deviation from this kind of Ken doll physique is definite cause for your own virginity, and not that you are a hateful and unlovable
You're not saying that they're using
bastard.
Small physical, you know, deviations from perfection to account for like a lack of a personality that would encourage people to be around them.
No, that is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Right. You
I got the
misunderstood.
other.
Yeah,
sorry.
So some examples of this that we found have been, you know, some of them have hair cell.
Yeah, so this is like someone with a receding hairline at the age of 19 or something.
Yeah.
You can see why that would knock your confidence.
But
But
at the same time,
Patrick Stewart was bald.
there are a
from
lot
the
of
age
bald
18.
people fucking non-stop.
They won't stop.
There's then, you know, and you see like, okay, that's not...
It's not outlandish. You know that like there's a common, like we see adverts on the tube for hair transplants and
Chin
hair
cell.
regrowth.
Chin cell.
Yeah, so this becomes a bit more specific. Although, given the right example, you can see how, again, if you're someone without, you know, with a very weak chin, as they...
Or indeed no chin.
Or maybe the opposite, and maybe the most prominent
much
chin,
chin.
like a kind of Mr. Incredible.
Like the crimson chin.
Yes. Yeah, like the crimson chin, but with none of his other attributes.
No.
Including the crimson element. Then you can see how, again, this is something you can point to and be like, oh, I don't feel confident.
Wrist cell.
Yeah, now here becomes a little harder to account for because I've never in the history of my life encountered anyone who had any sense of the proportion of their wrists. It's just not something that you keep track of, is it?
I'd not thought about it once until I read that word.
Yeah.
I sort of
I
took a
looked
look.
down and I was like, what? Well, it's just like, what could it be?
Oh my God, are we Chads?
No, we're not. Don't worry about it. We're true, Sal.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. No, well, we're going to find out.
Skull cell.
Yeah, now that's a troubling one.
Skull cell is the funniest word I've ever seen written down.
It looks nice written down.
It's incredible.
And it's fun to say, skull
It's
cell.
incredible that someone has blamed it not on their outward
Not on the features.
manifestation of their appearance
But on
or
the
on their
skull
head,
underneath.
but the skull itself.
So it's like taking a beautiful like Da Vinci canvas and just putting loads of Lego under it.
Yeah.
And they're like, if I had a different skull, I'd be hot as fuck.
But also, it's the ultimate in this abstraction of responsibility.
Outsourcing the blame to...
Yeah.
Oh,
That, you know, if it was
Doesn't have
hair
a
cell,
skull.
you could get a transplant,
Yeah.
or, you know, you could shave it off and try and go and be, you know, a bald cell or whatnot, or a not cell,
yeah.
just a bald Chad.
God.
But,
perish before.
me, I can't fix my skull.
Yeah, it's like competitive tragedy.
Yeah.
Like, they look down on anyone who isn't quite as just all out failed in every capacity as they do. So if it's like, if, like you said, like anything that could be fixed, no matter how complicated it would be to fix it, like, you could just get a chin implant, which is apparently a thing that people can do.
It's also an interesting thing because it's again, seems to be an oft repeated facet of these right wing communities is that nothing could ever make them happy.
Yeah.
That once someone from the community does somehow manage to have sex,
Fuck that guy.
then suddenly they're instantly excommunicated.
They just jump into Chad status.
Yeah, immediately. There's no like congratulations really.
There's no aspiration to not be an incel.
No.
It would seem.
It's now that we're here, it's the one thing I want, but also I can't get it because this is now how I define myself.
Yeah, and it's very self-fulfilling, isn't it?
It's such a tragedy.
So, Splinter Cell, which is a hilarious name on an incel forum. Right, this is in November 2017. I saw a thread on the forum regarding an incel score to decide whether you're a true cell or not. I felt the formula needed refining and have thus updated and simplified the test. I've decided to leave controllable factors out where possible. Brackets, smell cell. That's a new one for me.
Smell cell.
What a horrible term. Fat cell. No, smell cell or fat cell is vol cell, so that's voluntary celibate. So they're saying if you smell bad or you're fat, that's not a problem. Fix it. Get over it. But they don't think that same logic applies to any of the other stuff.
No.
Don't
No.
think it for a second, Chad. I'm open to
because the thing about wrists is once they're a thickness, that's it.
Yeah, they're God's great mistake, aren't they? The wrist. Once I'm open. No, he says I'm open to suggestions on changes to the system or make alterations once it's published based on popular demand. However, this system has, he assures us, been devised through years of peer-reviewed research from the brightest scholars, so I can assure it is unbiased and accurate. Post your scores and let's see if this fits people's self-assessments. Now, in a kind of game show gesture here, in brackets, he has keep track of your bonus incel stars, as these will adjust your score later. So as we're working through the test, and it's only a short test, and maybe you'd like to play along at home and see what your incel score is. As we're working through, just keep track. If I indicate that a star option is available, then you're going to want to write that down with a nice asterisk. You ready to go? Do you feel like you have any prediction you'd like to make about where you'd fall? Do you feel like...
If I fall closer to the incel than the Chad,
yeah, is that
I will be...
out the window.
Deleting this episode.
The incel score test.
Okay, here we go.
Which description best describes your face? Now, there are 5 options here.
Okay.
We're going to start with deformed. You have a genuinely deformed face, e.g. lazy eye. It's not a deformity.
It's absolutely wrong.
And
also imagine
eyes
describing a
aren't in the
lazy eye
face.
as genuinely deformed. What's an ingenuinely deformed face?
There's none. So if you were going to select that option, you'd get the bonus star, so that's something to consider, but that will give you 2.5 points. Ugly, undesirable features, e.g. noticeable asymmetry, acne, recessed jaw.
No.
That's 2 points.
On those.
Norman, generally average features. I know they've added this Norman guy for like the standard.
Wow.
Norman, generally average features, slight asymmetry, but all round relatively normal. 1.5. Chad Light, pretty boy, or general masculine face, but mogged by Chad. Now, I don't know what mogged means.
Mogged is a horrible term.
What does it mean to be mogged?
I don't know.
Is it like to be dominated by it?
Probably, yeah. Cucked by.
Cucked by Chad. That's everyone's dream, though, isn't it? Gosh. Chad, you're a genetic god. There's such a,
a massive jump.
From, like, general, I'm going to assume he means generally masculine face is Chad Light, and you get 0.5 points, but you get 0 points if you are a genetic god.
Right.
With a desirable jawline and hunter eyes.
Hunter eyes? Wow.
What are those? Where'd you buy
What does that mean?
I guess it must mean like Lego.
Right at the front.
Not
Not to the side like prey. like 20/20 vision, like good depth perception, maybe.
I guess it means that. Or maybe it's like, maybe hunters, we don't know any hunters, thankfully.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some quality about their eyes that's like they're always scouting for prey. Or
Right.
scouting the terrain, like Aragorn.
I do like my eyes.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to go with...
Are you calling them hunter eyes?
No, I'm going to go with Chad Light.
Generally masculine face.
Generally masculine face.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't call
Pretty
myself...
symmetrical.
I wouldn't call myself a genetic god, though.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's
what's
going
that,
to give you
0.5?
0.5 points.
0.5. Got
Play
that down.
along at home.
Right.
What's your hairline like, pal? 3 options here.
Okay.
Perfect hairline. That's 0 points. Thinning or recessed. That's going to be 1 point. Noticeably balding or bald. 1.5 points, and you are going to get the bonus star. Do you want the... I know you want the lower points, but do you want the star?
I don't want the bonus star, no. And I think I'm going to have to go with the first option here because I do have the most hair of anyone.
It's good hairline. Yeah. What's your height?
Was that 0 points?
Yeah, you've got 0 there. Well done.
0.0.
What's your height?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to start in the middle and then work
Either way.
Because the end ones are both so entertainingly named. So we've got average, 5'9" to 6 foot, which I think you
That is
are.
me, yeah.
You're going to get 0.5 points.
0.5 again. Wow.
You might be interested to realise that you're not getting the 0 points there, despite being in the average height category, which you'd think kind of by definition is what people are into.
No, because the Chads, they're a bit
Exactly.
taller, aren't they?
Chads. So this is optimum, 6'1" to 6'7". It's
The ladies, they love
They
the
love a
6'7".
giant. You got to climb your man. So that's 0 points. And then the highest one is freakishly large, which is 6'7" and above.
You're basically Slender Man.
So, but what I like is that if you're 5'9" or 6'9", you get half a point either way. Like, it's such a poorly graded system. Working the other way, we've got manlet in denial. I fucking love the word manlet.
Manlet
It's
is
so
incredible,
funny.
isn't it?
That's 5'5" to 5'9".
Is that you?
That's me. I'm in the.
You're
I'm
a
getting
manlet in
1 point.
denial.
But I'm not the mega manlet, which is 5'4" and
The
under.
mega manlet.
Another great bit of terminology.
Because mega implies great size.
It's so funny. That'd be oh no,
Massive manlet.
That's 1.5 stars, and you'd have got the bonus as well.
No,
So you're sticking with 0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. I'm in that middle category.
So what are you on so far?
I'm on 1.
You're on the 1.
1
Very
point.
nice. Here we go. Which option best describes your race? Now, trigger warning. Every incel's racist, so expect some problematic
expect some
terminology.
slurs.
They've got true white is the top one for 0.
I mean, I can't imagine I'm anything other than that. I'm the palest man.
White other, already confusing.
Very confusing.
That would be 0.5. Light-skinned black.
Light-skinned black.
Heart of darkness.
Oh!
That's a 1.5 points and a star bonus. I mean,
But I thought that part of the incel dogma was that actually white Stacys love black Chads.
yeah.
And so therefore you'd assume that it would actually be
Because
lower points.
Because incels are overwhelmingly white in skin
Yeah.
who hate black people.
with small penises.
They hate black people with small
No.
penises. Oh, I see.
They are white people.
Oh, I see, yeah. Yeah, so it confused me as well that they're now racist.
It amazes me that their racism is such that they've gone
Even
against
though-
their own ideology.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, all the Stacys are fucking these black guys, but oh god, they're still rubbish.
Yeah.
That seems to be the vibe. So true white, white other.
I'm going with true white, I think.
Going true
I think that's
white.
where I am, yeah.
That's a 0 pointer. What's your body like?
Right.
Chad is 0.
It's just a...
just doesn't mean anything.
Does it
what
give
says.
any
No.
explanation? Wow, great.
Normal and or slightly skinny or overweight, 0.5. Deformed frame.
That's such a jump. Slightly skinny,
Yeah,
slightly
to deformed
overweight.
frame.
The elephant man.
And there's only a 0.5 difference in the scale, in the amount of points you get. It's very poorly thought out, isn't
Very,
it?
very
I'm
poor.
beginning to doubt Splinter Cell's claim that this was peer-reviewed at all.
No.
Because I don't think this would make it into the
Reviewed
BMJ.
by whose peers? His.
His horrid incel.
His horrid basement-dwelling peers.
Anorexic or obese falls into that category as well. So it's deformed frame and or anorexic or obese, 1 star. So 0, 0.5, 1. You will get the bonus star.
I'm going to go with the overweight, the slightly overweight
Sure.
one.
Are you rich? No.
What, how many was that?
That was 0.5.
0.5 again.
Are you a rich? No equals 0.5.
Right.
Yes is a 0. It's a binary.
Oh, well, no.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just racking up the
you're
points here.
getting
Very
close.
dangerously close to the
How do you
precipice.
describe your mental state? Sound mind equals 0.
Right.
Generally nervous disposition is 0.5. Social anxiety, borderline insane is 1.
Those things are not comparable.
They're just not.
Social anxiety, like standing in corners at parties.
You don't like crowds too much, or you're borderline insane.
yeah.
The devil's
Oh, hang
asking
on
you
a
to
minute.
collect his flesh, boys. Or autistic, crippling anxiety, or severe mental disorder. Brackets diagnosed. That's 1.5.
Well, again,
With the
those
bonus
things
stars.
aren't comparable.
No.
Why is borderline insane above autistic?
Yeah. I don't have any answers. Right, where you
Were
going?
those all the options?
They're all the
One
options.
sound mind.
That's a 0
Out of those.
pointer.
A 0 pointer.
Are you
thank
sure
God.
I can't interest you in crippling anxiety and autism for the 1.5 and the bonus star?
No, I'm afraid that I won't be going for
Dangle
those.
the bonus star one more time.
I
Look at it
recognise
shine.
it's just it's not calling to me.
Oh, fine. Okay. Well, that's all the questions, but now there's a little bit more to go through.
Oh, have you got like modifiers?
Exactly that.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like they've played a lot of video games. And they're copying it from there.
Right. Okay.
So add up your score now. If you're above 20 years old, you're going to round it up to the nearest 0.5. If you're above...
But what do you mean? It would already be
Don't worry
on the
about
nearest
it.
0.5 because
If
it
you're
was
above-
only on a 0.5
if you're
scale.
above 25, if you're above 25, or if you are 25, you round it up to the nearest whole number.
Oh,
I'm
you'd have
the
been
wrong side of
fucked.
that. I'm true cell.
Right.
Are you female? Yes equals round score down to 0 and leave.
I like that they
got so
it's
far.
really bitter that they didn't tell them at the start. They
Yeah.
made them go through this process and then
All those
wham!
disappointed women who are hanging out
no.
on incels.me just to, have a lark.
Yeah.
Are you gay and or transgender? Yes equals halve your score. Maybe quarter it.
What quarter mine do I?
I don't know. That's going to be... Well, are they saying halving is better? So
Yeah.
the lower number, the more chatty you are. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd be saying
I
that's
don't,
better.
but I don't know if I'm more chatty. But
Well,
also I've got a broader spectrum for possible sex.
Why do they think being transgender is a benefit to this?
Because everything about their worldview is incorrect. That's
'cause
why.
they're stupid fucking bigots.
That's the one.
Right, I get it now.
I'll just halve it.
Okay.
I'll just halve it.
If you have 2 bonus incel stars, now remind me, do you...
I had none.
okay,
Thankfully.
well, that would be, you'd be adding 10 to your score
Oh.
and dividing by 2. If you had 3, do you have the 3
I
bonus
don't
incel
have the
stars?
3 now. I missed out
That
on
would
those.
be, don't bother with this quiz, you're a definite true cell.
Oh,
So, good again that they make you go through the
Yeah.
rigmarole first. So, I'm going to read you out all the possible options that you have. You're going to tell me which one you fall into. And we're all going to leave today much wiser people, much more, I hope, sensitive to the plight. And, it is a plight, those incels out there. We need to just support them, don't we? Because in the sexual marketplace, they've been dealt a dud hand. And it's up to, up to
they're
all
very-
of us.
very
to
little
just, if you see an
currency.
incel, just offer it, a hand job at best. Scoring. 0 to 1.5. Chad.
oh,
Females.
I'm a Chad.
Femoids will form around you in a ravenous flock.
Well, incels.me, I can confirm that this is my daily life. I can't so much as pop out for some milk without women throwing, and men just throwing themselves.
yeah, 'cause you've got the bonus multiplier.
Throwing themselves at my feet.
What's it like though? Because if you could just sit an incel down and tell them,
It's actually more of a struggle than they think.
Yeah,
it's probably
that's-
easier just being an ugly, deformed autist.
yeah, that's the one. 1.5 to 2.5. Chad Light. You'll have access to Chad's leftovers. I'm in for the scraps. And average femoids. Femoids, I mean, it goes without saying, is because they think women are sex robots.
Yes.
Westworld style. Cucked only by Chad, which is a lovely clause.
Cocked Only by Chad sounds like the name of a collection of poetry, doesn't it?
You are a settling option for most femoids. 2.5 to 4.5 is the normie. You should find a subhuman wife, or perhaps even an average woman.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, what?
What? You should find a subhuman wife. Does that mean settle down with a dog?
With a bit of grass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or perhaps even an average woman if you are... 2 words I don't know here. You might have some.
Okay.
Beta bucks. Maybe that means a rich beta male.
Oh, could be, yeah.
So
yeah,
like
that
a
makes
Silicon
sense.
Valley type.
Yeah.
Or looks max. Looks max. Any idea there?
Like maybe they're very anxious, completely straight, but very tall, but gorgeous.
I'm trying to have a little find. Oh, I think it must mean that you've maxed out the available look that you had. So it's like someone who looks a certain way.
I see.
So like, I'm not the best looking, but I'm dressing really well.
I'm as good as I'm going to get, yeah.
Okay. It does warn you at the end, though. Even after you've found a subhuman wife, or perhaps even an average woman, it does end with you will likely be cucked in the future.
Oh,
so that's
at least they're not, raising people's hopes unnecessarily.
It's good that they're being honest about it, isn't it? Because you need to know if you're going to be cucked.
And women, they are despicable kind of cheaters,
that's the thing,
really,
it's like
adulterous.
Either they're like the Madonna, or, and in my experience, and I think the experience of all incels, more often it's the whore.
It's the whore, yeah.
It's that dichotomy.
That's very binary. There's no spectrum there. It is.
Well, of course not. Do you not think that Splinter Cell would have told us about it?
Oh, they'd have looked it up. There'd be a point system for that as well. Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's give them the credit where it's due. 4.5 to 6.5. Now that's the dubious incel. Probably incel, but through a miracle or divine intervention, you may have the privilege of one day being laid or entering an LTR, long-term relationship, brackets, but will later be cucked.
Oh, okay.
So that first bit, you're like, oh, wow. Even there's a dubious... I mean, fine, I guess I'm going to be cucked at some point.
But, that's inevitable for anyone over a 3.5 score, seems. So, you might it's a risk worth taking.
6.5 to 8.5 is the incel. That's just pure incel. You're destined to die alone. Plain and simple. No more to say about that.
Alone and sexless.
It goes without saying. 8.5 to 10. Now, this is serious territory because this is the absolute true cell. A physical repulsion, you are the true incel of incels. You bring about pestilence wherever you walk and are beneath animals on the evolutionary spectrum. LDAR for life or rope. Now, let's unpack LD.
Well, I think we know what rope means.
Yeah, LDAR. Lie down and rot.
Maybe.
I'm going with that. For life or rope. So, it seems like on the one hand, you've done well to escape, the whole cucking element. But on the other hand, you've got to now accept that you're part of the problem. And I was just wondering how you're going to be adjusting your behaviour as a confirmed Chad in future to kind of help the problem resolve itself. What are you going to be doing?
I am going to be spending the rest of my life chadding it up like no one's business. I'm just going to taunt and tease these, as we called them earlier, sad, sexless fucks.
Oh no!
And I hope that they see the errors of their ways.
We've all learned a lot today. I hope you've played along at home and found out where you lie in the incel spectrum.
To be fair, we should note that whilst it is hilarious that people subscribe to this idea. It is sadly a kind of semi-serious problem.
Oh yeah, I mean these people like they're a movement of some note.
At the moment on Twitter, there is trending #IncelRebellion.
Oh dear.
Which was something that Alec used in his post. And some of the tweets are quite good. They're people fighting against the Incel Rebellion. But some of them are quite sadly very
pro-cell.
Pro-cell.
Weird.
Yeah. Someone says, the #Incel Rebellion is so misunderstood. Normies will never understand. We're just self-hating suicidal bastards who wish we were never born. We irrationally hate society, maybe because we've always been left out, stomped on and so forth. Social health is incredibly important.
Wow. Well, look, I'm not going to say it's not important.
What I'm going to say is that as someone who is definitely a white man,
Uh-huh.
the idea that you have been left out and stomped on and so forth.
You're saying that white people haven't been oppressed recently?
Well, I mean, some of them have.
But as a group, you're saying.
But as a group,
white people,
relative to other groups,
yeah, you're saying they haven't had a bad. Oh,
haven't had a bad run. Someone called Wanking the Tiger.
Oh, that's their first mistake.
Would not be impressed with our podcast. You may not owe incels a cent, a penny, but you should know that your irreparably high standards for what you see in a man has moulded the modern incel into who they are.
You're right, it's women's fault.
This is your fault, as well as society's, for moulding what he calls these lads into what they've become.
Wow, that's very.
That's a great thing to say about a man who drove a van into innocent people.
Yeah,
because
women wouldn't go on a second date with him.
And he was seemingly horrid. He used the phrase wishing to speak to Sergeant Forchan. Who did he think was going to be fucking him?
Yeah.
There's someone here called 9/10 of a lawyer.
Okay.
They're very pro-cell. Yeah. Here's just a selection of their thoughts. Your verbal abuse, responding to someone who is anti-cell, is typical of what provoked the hashtag incel rebellion.
Right, is it?
I didn't drive the van.
Good.
I wasn't rude. And you're just a foul-mouthed piece of trash that is best ignored.
I wasn't rude, but here I go.
I'm not the one looking to change things, so good luck with your approach. Women can't pick winners, by the way.
What does that mean?
Well, either he's saying women aren't very good at betting on the horses.
I think it's that.
Or he's saying they shouldn't just be allowed to pick the best.
Yeah, they should. I think you could have just stopped it. They shouldn't just be allowed to pick, because it seems to be like female autonomy is a big challenge to the incel rebellion as a concept.
Women with brains and beauty don't talk like you. I'm tall, high IQ.
Oh god, they love IQ.
Why? What is it about
every fringe fuckwit?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what their
from the fat earth.
I suppose it's because it's something that's very easy to fake and acts as, to at least to other idiots, as a kind of distraction, like jangling your keys away from the absolute absurdity and stupidity of all of the real evidence as to how
it's the whole thing of like Trump being an idiot's idea of what a really rich guy is like.
Yeah.
It's this thing of like, if your behaviour can be whatever, you can sound like a total moron. But if you say, I took a test and got 130, then everyone's like, wow, you must be clever. It's kind of self-selecting for people who think IQ is valuable.
You'll like this because this is so typical of these communities as well. As our listeners will have been made aware in this episode, they love a bit of terminology.
They do, yeah.
They love a bit of terminology, their own kind of code or idiom, anything to feel like they're part of something rather than even just being sad.
Very sad.
Lonely losers.
Yeah.
This guy, same guy, 9/10 of a lawyer, he's done a classic. The hashtag incel rebellion also correctly notes, bold use of correctly, playing it fast and loose there, that it's not what a man does that determines his sexual outcomes, but simply who he is in terms of looks, money and status. Brackets, LMS.
Oh, the looks, money, status.
Yeah, the LMS factor.
Is that like a unit of measurement now?
That's basically, it's like a matrix. Okay. You kind of like put the inputs in.
Right.
And that tells you.
Got a lot of time to make all these systems.
I know. It's all this time they're not spending fucking anyway. and never going to
What for you is the distinction between the reprehensible incel community and people who, are just genuinely lonely and sad?
Well,
we're not attacking those guys.
No, well, it's about blame and response, isn't it? That these people blame society, specifically all women, for creating a world in which they, lonely, pathetic white men, aren't the number one focus of attention and success.
It's not fair, is it?
It's no. When you think about it, really,
when you put it that way,
when you think about how for thousands of uninterrupted years they were like the top dogs
they were
anyway.
oppressed. Oh, they were not oppressed.
No, they
so
were not
at
oppressed.
the
You
top
know,
of the
it
ladder.
seems unfair, like that just as these guys were born,
Yeah.
society,
Tables
the
are
pendulum
turned.
took a swing the other way and said,
It's like
hey,
all those libertarians who are like, you know what, you can't even marry a 14-year-old anymore. It's like, it's just, government's gone mad, hasn't it?
I know, it's mad.
100 years ago, do what you want. And now, just as I'm born, say the libertarians, can't do anything.
No. So they blame women for their own failings, which
Yes. And not just blame, but it's like, you should just for your own
violently
interest.
attribute
Yeah.
all reason for this.
Yeah.
As far as there is any, which
Yeah.
there isn't.
They-
As far as they've made up.
Yes. They spend so much time doing it as well. That forum that I'd never ever heard of before, and we've both like done research into the incel community before. Their subreddit was shut down after the Toronto attack.
Before.
Was it before?
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it was a bit before, wasn't it? But they have other places on Reddit and otherwise on other communities. And this site that had that score thing on, incels.me, I'd never ever heard of before, so it must be relatively new or relatively popular, or relatively newly popular rather. But the first page of the forum had maybe 60 posts or something, and there were 320 of them, did I say? Something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a mad amount of activity going
Yeah.
on. And it, I suppose, always will be a lot of activity because by definition they're people with a lot of time on their hands.
to do nothing but.
Nothing but increase the frustration. How do you think we solve the problem of incels then from a rational perspective that isn't, pay women to go and sleep with them or develop the sexual
hang on, was that
robots?
what I was going to say?
Oh, well, they'd already be out. They already wouldn't like that because they don't want to pay.
No, they don't
So,
want to pay, no.
That would
No.
already be a step too far for many.
Yeah, and I suppose that it does kind of fall into the trap of treating women exactly the way they want, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As kind of beings that are good for nothing but sex.
Yeah, God.
Which we at That's a Shame don't quite
Is that not
agree
our
with.
stance?
No, we haven't nailed our colours to that particular
No.
sexist mast.
I didn't think so.
I don't actually know how. It feels very much like a problem with the perfect set of circumstances to only get worse. But I think that the only thing really that was limiting the community to the sort of fringe that it was that it hadn't really gained any wider traction. But now, all those people who consider themselves incels but without knowing that that was a thing,
Yeah, now they've got
now know that they've got a...
because it is one of those, much like with many of these extreme communities, it's like they prey on the vulnerability of people who feel a certain way but don't have a name for it.
Yeah.
And then once they find the name for it, then they start to adopt the more extreme elements of the ideology.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And I don't know how you deal with cults.
No.
Really, all you do is hope that they deal with themselves, as often they do.
Good luck, incels. Maybe we need some incel sleeper agents.
Okay. Are you
You're up for
volunteering? They wouldn't let me in. What would my symmetrical
I think
face?
you could just shave your head. What else would you have to do? You have to shave your head, put on
I'll
so much
I'll
weight.
keep one eye closed,
Yeah.
like some sort of Quasimodo.
Maybe Elephant Man cosplay.
Yeah, cardboard box up the back of my shirt.
Absolutely. We've had a couple of emails.
Oh, yes.
And I thought, when better than now to get to them?
Nowhere.
Subject line, Womibomb from Noah. Horrible acronym, he says. The kid I shared with, so he's talking about the fact that he shared That's a Shame.
Word of mouth was...
Yeah.
Was it best of mouth?
Well, the kid I shared with, I didn't talk to for a month. So he's gone for a kind of hit and run approach, which is maybe advisable to be like, oh, I've heard of this podcast you might like. I'm going to be away for a couple of months and not contactable.
If you do listen...
Yeah, then
Let us know
good.
in-
But if you
maybe.
don't, and if you have any feedback, don't send it my way.
Yeah.
The kid I shared with, I didn't talk to for a month. Then
He's
I
now dead.
just drove a truck. Then I slept on his couch for 2 days. He seemed to enjoy it. That's the end.
Oh, what? Did he, as in, he enjoyed the show or enjoyed
He
you
loved
sleeping
Noah
on
being
his
there.
couch?
He woke up every night and just looked and was like, God, this is friendship, isn't it? Look at that boy, stretched out
I mean,
on my
he's got
couch.
some fucking odd taste in podcasts,
Dreadful
but
idiot. Those English lads he listens
some of his
to.
content is...
But very, very resplendent upon my sofa. Well,
Hmm.
that's lovely. Another email from Mark Stratfold. Subject line, Supercont recommends. Isaac and Declan, I was all ready to give you a TV programme recommendation, but then I picked up that you were somewhat disparaging about the Office US version, so I'm now concerned. I really enjoyed the US version of The Office. Never watched the UK version due to my aversion to... I've lost track of the word version here. Never watched the UK version due to my aversion to Ricky Gervais, as I think I've mentioned before. Let's pause briefly to reflect on what Mark's given us. I should clarify my stance on the US Office, which is that it's perfectly watchable, and there are bits of it that are quite funny, and I like Steve Carell. I think he's a good comedy actor.
Yeah.
They have some incredible like guest stars. Rashida Jones, we were talking about earlier, very excellent. Who else? Idris Elba's in it for a bit.
Yeah,
he's good in everything. So it's not that I hate the US Office,
no,
by any means, but it's the subject of hatred purely because of people, and Mark isn't one of them because he hasn't seen the UK version.
No.
He has a legitimate reason not to watch it if he's very averse to Ricky Gervais. But people who have seen both, especially in the UK, people who have seen both, and pretend that the US version is better,
is even close.
It's the most wrong. Like, it's so profoundly wrong.
It's so generic is the problem. It's very much like a lot of other American sitcoms or
and that's not a bad
sitcoms.
thing. It's just completely not what The Office was, which was incredibly innovative, defined a generation of sitcoms to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the problem with the US Office as well, I think, is that it doesn't even do what it's doing better than others.
In what? In the mockumentary sense?
Yeah, as in it doesn't have a touch on Parks and Rec, which does the same thing but better. So it's kind of just existing, I think, in this weird sort of vacuum where it's fine, but it also, if people are going to watch both and then pretend...
It falls, for me, into the category of, like, the people who pretend to like tea to appease Americans, to be, like, to inhabit a stereotype of, like, Britishness that they think is cute and marketable and quirky. It's the same thing, and again, like, this is not for everyone, but there is an undercurrent of people who thought it was really trendy to like the US Office more as Brits be like, I realise I should like the UK one more, but you know what? Just love what those Yanks did with the whole thing.
They really took that and ran with it.
Knocked it out of the park. And I mean, it's fine, but it's not The Office.
No.
Anyway, says Mark, I will soldier on and give my recommendation regardless. Thank you for your perseverance. That's the word I was looking for. It's Barry. I believe it's airing on Sky Atlantic in the UK. It's in fact made by HBO, but I have it via my son, who has obtained it from a nautically themed torrent repository. I always feel it best to have a buffer between myself and legal activities, even if it's one of my offspring. That's great, it's outsourcing.
Yeah, crime.
Anyway, Barry is a former Marine, now hitman, who gets sent to LA for a job, but whilst there decides he wants a career change to become an actor. Henry Winkler, aka the Fonz, is the acting coach. This is a great setup.
That is amazing.
It's a dark comedy. I needed to give it a couple of episodes, but by the third I was finding it very appealing. No, very good. I believe it may well appeal to you and others. My second recommendation, about which I will not say too much so as to avoid spoilers, is Infinity War. Loved the film, and I've had many a long conversation with my son as to where this leaves the Marvel Universe. Thanks for the entertainment, Mark.
Infinity War is very, very good.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
It was as good as it could have been.
Difficult. You know. Imagine writing a film with that many characters.
Although, did you see all these bullshit, I think it was a New Yorker article.
Right.
There was like, in Infinity War, characters are given no introduction. It's just one big advert for the other films.
Right, well that's, yeah. I feel like you've missed some of the remit, New Yorker.
So someone I know like subtweeted it going, picking up Jane Austen at page 394. God, they haven't got any introduction to these characters. They're just doing things with abandon.
That's funny. Yes, I'll have to go and see it. And this Barry show, that's a good recommendation.
Great. Anything with Henry Winkler.
Henry the Fonz Winkler.
Yeah.
Why not get involved? Look, it's been an interesting show, I think. I think we've learnt a lot about not only the incel movement as a whole, hopefully spread some information, because the only way to combat groups like this, I suppose, if I really think about it, is compassion. And it pains me to say that we have to be compassionate to such horrible idiots, but we have to reach out a hand and guide them back into society so that the trap, but you can understand why it's an appealing trap if you're in that mindset of inceldom, is not where they're flocking to in their millions.
Good job we showed a lot of compassion in this episode.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is that there's a balance to it.
Yeah.
You can, I think by all means we should like ridicule the movement because humour is an important part of removing the power from something as odious and as overtly wrong and sexist and racist and bigoted in every possible sense. But that's for the group. And I think if you know, what I'm saying is if there's an incel in your life, reach out, not in that way, and just
there.
Engage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can all work together and make a better tomorrow, can't we?
Wow.
That's always been my message. I know I hide it under a veneer of, not even a veneer, but a well-practiced,
a genuine
whole human's worth
of cynicism.
Yeah, but it's there. It's just
it is there. Isaac, as we've often regarded, is an enormous fan of people as an idea.
Yeah.
But very few people individually.
Can't be getting on with them, but love them en masse.
Yeah.
If... like Mark, like Noah, you'd like to get in touch with the show with any thoughts you might have.
If you'd like to earn the official badge of Supercont.
Yeah. Should we make Supercont badges one day?
Right, done.
Oh, that'd be great. We'll get that on the store when I'm back. We'll also get a store up when I'm back. I guess that's the follow-up.
You know, I think we could probably outsource it to Shy Yeti for a little while.
Oh, yeah, he's done a great job of it. Look on our Twitter feed for retweets of many T-shirt mock-ups that Paul has made. They're fantastic, all of them. If you'd like to get in touch, tass@shame.city is the way to do it. There's a contact form on Shame City as well, which I know you're visiting every week to look at the new artwork that I slaved over.
Of course.
For minutes at a time. Probably let's do some more, because it's a year of that website as well. I just had to renew the domain. So it feels like a good time to maybe introduce a new set of things on there.
Start doing some fucking writing for it.
I guess
I've been
so.
promising to do for years.
And maybe it would be good because it would make us, like Stephen King says, write every day. And that could be our writing every day. My mum's calling, so we've got to go very soon. But tell us about what else is going on, Twitter, all of that stuff.
So email tass@shame.city or find your way into our website through the shame.city/contact, as we've said. Twitter, @That's a Shamecast for the show, @CynicalDeclan for me, and @IsaacBD for Isaac. You can review the show 5 stars only. 5 stars is what we deserve, what we need, and what you want to give us. Shame.city/review or reviews, whichever you prefer.
And it's that flexibility that warrants the 5.
If you have but $1, a penny, a pound to send our way, then we would be extremely grateful. It does allow us to do things like booking Thorpe Park.
Yeah, it pays for that.
Or buy me a new laptop.
Certainly not enough for that.
No.
It pays for things like our hosting for the podcast, our hosting for the site.
Oh, it doesn't pay for our Auphonic yet. You've kept that from me.
And in another sense, it doesn't pay for any of those things I mentioned. No. But in theory, it could if we left it there.
It's there.
Yeah.
It means that we're happy to cover those expenses
and
ourselves.
To develop the show beyond it.
And like we say, they will hopefully soon be covering Thorpe Park tickets anew and aplenty.
Yeah.
You can find that patreon.com/shamecity. And of course, as always, as ever, as Noah has been boldly putting forth into the world.
Noah and his couch pal.
Wom-e-bomb.
Sorry about that.
That's Wom-e-bomb, not E.
No.
Wom-e-bomb.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is best of mouth.
Shout it from the rooftops, pals. I've been Isaac.
I've been Declan.
We'll see you so shortly.
Bye-bye.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. The bare necessities, the bare necessities, the bare necessities of life will come to you.